Hey listeners, welcome to another episode of Show Me Your Hustle. Today I am sitting down with Jackie. Jackie, tell us about yourself.
That's such a loaded question these days. I am the owner of 53 Consulting. I have been part of my own consulting firm for the last year, just over a year and a half. And I help companies get themselves acclimated to new tech transitions and improve their client relationships through different programs that I help assist with.
Awesome. What brought you here?
Um, well, it's interesting. My career has taken quite a few pivots. I think
Okay.
similar to everybody else that's working at this point.
Yeah.
Technology has taken on a bit of a life of its own. So I started my career in advertising and traditional broadcast advertising and TV. And as the technology evolved, I tried to evolve with it. And so at this point, I've worked in ad tech, I've worked in software as a service, in the ERP space, which includes inventory management solutions, CRMs. And really, it's been interesting because you learn that the client relationship is important no matter what the medium, no matter how you're trying to reach people, and it's never going to go away. We just use
Right.
different tools to connect with people. And so
Yeah.
the impetus for going out on my own was that I wanted to help more people in more spaces, and I've been able to do that. I'm a bit of a generalist. I've been working in a lot of different industries with different tech and met a lot of different users and clients, and it's been fun.
That's awesome. What has been your biggest hurdle since starting your agency?
That's actually an easy but hard one. I had always spent time at the enterprise level, and I will say that I have some experience with a startup and some experience working with smaller companies, employee size 200 or less, but not as much. My comfort zone was definitely at the enterprise level, and I definitely underestimated the amount of work, logistics, and new problems I would have by going into business for myself. Because
Yeah.
you definitely have like a whole new host of challenges, and it's sort of like going to the gym and you've been doing leg workouts for like your whole gym time, and then you decide,
Right.
I'm going to do arms and try these new ab workouts. And, it's a little painful, but then once you get past like the first couple of months, you
Yeah.
adjust and you get used to it, and then you find a flow. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely practicing what I preach, right? Because I work with clients that I'm trying to get comfortable with change, and I
Yes.
think that continues to be a pretty big theme for most people. There are very few industries that aren't in some way affected by, deep
Yeah.
and deep change and a high frequency, like every day something new.
Yeah. Right. Right. I like that word, high frequency. That's a great way to describe it. Um, with that, on the flip side, what's been the most enjoyable aspect?
You know, it's been enjoyable to break into some new industries and learn some new things. I've taken clients on that have done everything from garment manufacturing and distribution to real estate, people that have apps that are doing all kinds of really cool things, and
Yeah.
a little bit of healthcare, a little bit of FinTech. Um, so I've definitely deviated. I'm from Detroit originally, so I did spend quite a bit of time in the automotive space, and I've definitely
Yeah.
deviated from that quite a bit, even from
Okay.
manufacturing. And it's been interesting to learn about other people's businesses, their landscapes, and their customers.
Yeah. What, in your background, what was like the pivoting moment for you to do this? Like, did you have that aha North Star moment that you're like, I'm going to go off on my own and be a founder?
Yeah, Well, it was starting my career in media and technology where, um, everybody that worked in the media space was very committed
Mm-hmm.
to high levels of communication. You're dealing with lots of extroverts, dealing with really
Right.
high level negotiators, great client facing people. And as I moved closer and closer to the tech space and industries that don't traditionally use tech, like the finance space, like healthcare,
Yeah.
what I learned is you get a lot more technical, especially with startups. Those firms tend to lead with somebody that has technical acumen first, right? They're engineers, they're
Right.
developers, and they don't really understand or haven't refined the client facing part of the process. And I'd say that's 80% of going to market with something new, because there's so many solutions out there. So it's really competitive. And I just realized that this was a need inside of the space, and that if I worked
Mm-hmm.
on my own, I could help a lot of people at the same time instead of just being dedicated, to one company or one division of a
Right.
of a large company.
Right. That makes sense. All right. My favorite rapid fire questions. What's the first app you check when you wake up in the morning?
Oh God, probably my email.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Book or podcast?
Uh, book. Podcast
And
isn't a
what?
close second.
Yeah. Okay. And then is there a founder that you really admire and that you have strived to learn qualities of?
Yeah, I mean, he's a founder, but I think now he's known much more for his leadership. But I love Gary Vee because he's no nonsense and he has a potty mouth, and I do too, but you're not going to know about that on this podcast. But he's common sense, and I like
Yeah.
his approach, and it's not popular, but it's true. It's timeless, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, I really admire him for that. He's big on taking care of your employees and having them take care of your customers, and,
Yeah.
doing things the right way first.
Right. What would be your biggest advice to someone who is wanting to break off and go on their own?
Oh gosh. Leave the groundwork before you actually do it. I just went cold turkey, and I was very overwhelmed my first 3 or 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then 6 or 9, but less overwhelmed in the later stages of that. And
Yeah.
I would also just say to give yourself a lot of grace. I think that I created my own timelines for stuff, but then when I started talking to other founders, they're like, oh no, that takes like a year. Um,
Right.
so just
Right.
giving yourself grace, staying organized. I mean, you are your everything, right? And find good
Yeah.
people to partner with, because they've been the bedrock of, you can't do everything on your own. Um,
Yeah.
and it sounds like an oxymoron saying that as a founder and a solopreneur, but it's true. So, you have to
Right.
lean on your people. You have to, offer them some value in return, really get creative, get scrappy. And like I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, like you're just flexing totally new muscles, and you just have to keep working out until you're not sore anymore.
Right. What what's the one piece of software you absolutely couldn't live without in your business?
Yeah, you know what? I would just say, especially for any clients that I work with, any piece of software that's going to automate tasks that are very cumbersome or time consuming, that can be automated, something simple. So I use QuickBooks for my accounting. I have like a small little CRM system. Outlook, I create folders and stuff, just anything that keeps me organized. I don't know
Yeah.
that the same advice would apply to everybody, but certainly somebody
Yeah.
that's working with clients that have lots of customers and touch points. Anytime you can streamline your process, you can spend more time, on the work.
Right. Right. Awesome. Well, Jackie, is there anything that you would leave us with for like the stage of your business right now?
No, I would just say I've been making some interesting discoveries as the technology moves forward, and a lot of people are trying to integrate AI, and they're
Yeah.
really getting scrappy at this point in time right now with their staff. And I just can't help but reiterate for everybody that, people are still at the foundation of everything that we do. And,
Yeah.
it's important to not cut that corner, like take good care of your people through the good and the bad times, through technology shifts. Like, they're always going to be the center of everything you do. And the companies that
Right.
are doing really well right now understand that, the ones that I work with.
Yeah. I agree with that. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure hearing your story and just a quick bit about your hustle.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This is so nice.